migration patterns, water temperatures. Don't set your watch by them. But some things do remain constant, like fishing for striped bass against the Cape Cod sunset. This is as historic a fishery as you'll find in America. In Cape Cod, the past is always present.
I've done a lot of fishing in a lot of places, but never have I seen anything like this.
Evolution.
Welcome to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Next door, you'll find A-list tourist towns Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. But anglers also know places like Chatham, Stellwagen Bank, Falmouth, and the Elizabeth Islands. These spots have their own A-lister.
Striper is the cussedest critter that swims. He's the most ornery, unpredictable fish I ever met.
The striped bass, a coveted species up and down the Atlantic coast. But if it could claim a hometown, it would be Cape Cod. From fly fishing to surf casting, trolling to jigging, poppers to live bait, they've been caught by all means necessary.
So the striped bass is a popular fish. It's world-renowned, especially in New England. It's a really special fish because they travel up and down the coast. There's a huge migration, and people, I mean, they just go crazy for the striped bass. You know, they follow the run all the way from down in the Maryland, Chesapeake area, and they go all the way up to Maine. And then they come back down south in the fall. And the fishing is generally just incredible if you're on that run. They're on bait, they're gorging, and they're just an incredible light tackle, hard fighting fish. Super fun on bait, top water, on the fly. Just a great fish, especially for light tackle and guiding. It's a fantastic fishery.
Stripers are only part of the Cape Cod story. Species abound here, small, medium, and large. Like fluke or summer flounder, bottom dwellers that are such aggressive feeders that they will hunt for bait at the surface. And bluefin tuna.
The wind's blowing northwest here, and the fish have been set up a little offshore here. We kind of had a hunch that in order to run in, usually on this northwest wind, these fish push into the wind and end up right along the beach. So we're kind of inshore here, and first cast, just a little pile of fish on the surface. We got tight, we got lucky there for sure.
Yo, we're tight, we're tight.
don't know about you, but just looking at these gray seals makes me want to take a nap. But once they return to the water, they return to the menu for white sharks. The seal population has grown significantly over the past decade, which is why the sharks have become so prevalent on the Cape. Federal protections and a steady diet of seal blubber will do that for you. Up next, friends, we set up shop at the Elizabeth Islands and stay open 24/7.
Cape cod is like the flex muscle of the state of Massachusetts, reaching into the rich currents of the Atlantic Ocean. Off these lonely beaches is some of the finest fishing in the world, especially for the striped bass, a brawny fighter that begins its life in fresh water, migrates to spend its adulthood in the sea. Twice each year, spring and fall, the stripers pass the beaches of Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard.
It's fall, the bookend to the spring striper run, except now, weather is a greater factor. For this trip, Jamie opts for the Elizabeth Islands on the southwest side of the Cape.
It's a really unique area here on Buzzards Bay. We have Elizabeths that pretty much stretch all the way to the west that protect us and allow us to boat in really rough conditions that you wouldn't be able to traditionally. Usually you can get in the lee, and there's some really quality striped bass fishing on these islands.
He just grabbed that, I didn't even realize it. Healthy fish coming out of the river. Let this one go.
Just fishing some topwater here this morning. Blowing pretty hard. We're tucking in behind the islands here. Starting to see a little action here. Tide's just starting to pick up. Tide's pretty low this morning, so we're gonna plug away here, work this structure, and fishing should pick up here soon. Oh, that's a nice one.
Yep.
Feel decent?
Feels decent.
Basically a second twitch, right in that little bubble in there.
Yeah, that's a better fish.
Some healthy fish in here right now, really are. First thing this morning, throwing some topwater in the boulder fields off the Elizabeth Islands. Ray just picked up this beautiful mid-30-inch fish.
He's no monster, Kurt, but a nice bear.
Well, he's not too big, but he's pretty, isn't he? That's why they call him Old Line Sides, huh?
That's right, old line sides.
A lot of small bait in the area. Got a lot of albies, false albacore on the outside here busting. Water's getting pretty churned up here though with this big breeze, so it's making it a little difficult here fishing. It's getting pretty weedy in here and the water quality is kind of diminishing a little bit.
As the lights go out on the Cape, the stripers come out to feed at night, and a special live bait does the trick. The sun sets over the Elizabeth Islands. If you've got a knowledgeable captain who can navigate the currents conditions and boulder fields in the dark, the world of night fishing for stripers will open up to you.
We did some night fishing on the Elizabeths, throwing eels, which could be a really productive way of fishing. Traditionally, these fish are coming in at night. They go into the shallows, and they're gorging on, whatever is on hand. It could be squid, this time of the year peanut bunker, small bait in tight. They're coming in at night, they're feeding, and it's just a really great opportunity to get on those really quality striped bass.
Right up in that rock pile there.
Yeah, just starting the night out here. Sun just went down, slowly picking away here. The tide's really not moving a ton right now. We need to give these fish a little bit more time to get up in the shallows and start feeding, and the tide's gonna get better here in the next couple hours. Tossing eels into structure and picking up a few small fish here, but looking for a little bit better quality here in the next couple hours. Should be some bigger ones filling in.
You got eels swimming around the cockpit, literally. Dude, it is beautiful in here.
Fall in New England here, working the Elizabeth Islands, throwing eels at night. Starting to pick up some decent fish here. Tide's starting to move. Just got this guy probably in 2 feet of water. He wrapped me around a couple rocks, but nice healthy little fish. Gonna get him back in the water and keep fishing. I'm on too. Fish is super yellow. That's more like it. Picking away tonight, a little slower. A lot of small fish out here. Finally just locked into a little bit better fish. In tight. Something a little better.
We've been averaging 10 stripers per day, and we've got one more day with Jamie. You do the math. The Cape Cod hilltops, coastlines, and classic shingle-sided homes. They're almost frozen in time. Meanwhile, the striper fishery is constantly evolving. First the decline, then the regulations, then the recovery.
My dad used to say that he'd go out and they would struggle to catch a couple schoolies, and the fishery was really in a tough shape when it was overfished for quite a few years, and some of the spawning years were really tough in the rivers down south. But it's one of the most remarkable success stories. We had an incredible rebound with a nematorium on the fishery for years there, and it came back quite strong. But the bait's changing, the way we catch these fish is changing, and we also have to be more mobile and follow the biomass of fish.
Pitching some live baits out here, mid-September. It's cooling down here in New England. Pretty windy day here. Working these boulder fields on the backside of Elizabeth. Get a lot of fish migrating south, gorging on bait. Came here this morning, did some top water, ran inshore, got some nice fish, and now we're working this area with some baits, and hopefully we can pull a bigger fish out of here.
Sucker's tight. Holy smoke. The way that we fish these islands is pretty unique. I mean, there's not really many guys that do it the way I do. Most of the time we're in 6 feet or less of water and maneuvering around boulder fields, really large boulder fields with a lot of rocks. And these striped bass just hold to that structure. They love to the surf zone, and then they ambush bait that are coming around those edges on the structure. It's certainly a challenging way to fish, and you got to be on top of your game.
Feels decent. Looks pretty good, actually.
How am I doing this boulder? You want me to get more
You're
reverse?
good. You're all right.
I just don't want him going on the other side of it.
I think I can stop him.
Might be another one behind him, too.
Not bad.
He looks like he's choked on that pogey.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty fish. The fish over here have better coloring than those ones in the river. We're tight. Those big fish are smart. They run straight for the rocks. We moved into some little bit more protected area. We're gonna fish some live bait here. Got some live baits and tossing some eels as well. Been some pretty quality fish moving up here in these deep little cuts. It's got big head shakes.
Yeah, I didn't really get like a great look at it, but it might be decent. It's a nice fish.
Good fish.
Cape Cod means different things to different people. It's a fishing community, a historic destination, a celebrity escape, and a trust-funded fairyland. So, Jamie, what does Cape Cod mean to you?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, to me, it's my home. So, I mean, I spend crazy amount of hours out there fishing all night, all day, whether it's putting people on fish or cruising with my family and the wife on the boat or surfing waves on the islands. You name it, I'm out there doing it. It's an absolutely spectacular and beautiful place that really is just untouched. It's been that way forever, and it's a really special place in my heart.
I tell you, the fish was pooped when he finally came to Gap. And so was Larry. But he had his big striper from Santee. And what's even more important, the fish were still biting. Old Santee Cooper was paying off. Once again, the old girl hadn't let me down. As I stood there in the boat fighting another striper in the sunset, I know that in Massachusetts, I'll always be where the stripers are.